Hello everyone and welcome back to Andropal 101. Today is going to be some pretty good stuff. There's going to be some news for the day as well as a couple responses. So after we get rid of the news, then I've got a couple responses for a few people that are on my other channel that they've responded to me, and I thought I would give them the respect of going ahead and responding to them with a non-biased position. So let me go ahead and take care of the news of the day, which one of the things that you've almost undoubtedly have heard about is the Note 7. They're going to roll out an update that is going to permanently make the device no longer able to charge. Now, of course, you don't have to accept that update. You can refuse that, but I'm not sure why you would do that. If you still have the Note 7, I'm not really sure why there's this hardline desire to keep the device. It's not the fastest device. It doesn't even take the best pictures. Does it have an iris scanner? Yes, it does. Is it water resistant? Yes, it is. Does it have the best memory? No, it does not. Does it have a SD card slot? Yes, it does. But what is it about the Note 7 that is attracting such a desire and a fervency to keep the device? Believe me, I am a Samsung player. I have a Note 5. That is what I use. I love the S Pen. The S Pen is a great utilitarian item, but you can get that with the Note 5. Your complaint would be, well, the Note 5 is not water resistant. Correct, but then again, I don't plan on using my device around water. I never did. Secondly, you would also say that the camera is better on the Note 7. I'm not too sure about that. I have compared both devices, and I have looked at pictures from both, and I have seen zero difference between both devices. Now, there are slight differences, yes, but you can go on to any YouTube channel, watch a comparison between the Note 5 and the Note 7 pictures. The Note 5 takes higher pixels. The Note 7, less pixels, however, they're brighter pixels. So, at nighttime pictures, you probably would get a little bit better. But I'll be honest, I'm not taking most of my pictures at nighttime. That's just me. But I'm also subscribed to a few channels on YouTube, and one of the guys that's on there, he made some really good comments about why are you sticking into this this forbidden community, this group of underground groupies that you feel you have to keep that device. There's no reason. You get no updates. You can't use it on any Oculus. You can't use it on things that you would normally use your device for, things that are fun. The reason I have a device is so that I can have fun and enjoy my phone. I don't have to root it. I don't have to go and flash the BIOS or whatever you're doing. I mean, if that's what you want to do, great. But don't you want to have a functional device? One that is not going to have security problems? Again, just those are my thoughts. I'm not sure why there's that many people keeping their Note 7. But again, if you want to keep your Note 7, you go right on ahead and you'll see that the device is not going to help you out. Not to mention, I do want to mention this, it is a non-safe device. And this comes not only from the haters, and we all know haters are out there, and that's both sides of the fence, but it is a dangerous device. It can have a problem. It's like keeping a loaded gun sitting in your house. Now, if you have kids, and I have 2 children, why would you risk your family because you have this desire to keep a device that is clearly dangerous? Now, you've not had no problems. I'm not saying you are. Same thing with a gun. If you have a gun sitting on your table, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a problem with that gun. However, it just takes one time. One. and you make a mistake, leaving that thing charged overnight, your house catches on fire, and your kids don't get out. Think about that. Your wife, your kids, or your husband and your kids, it just doesn't show a lot of sense. Okay? Or if you're a kid that you have the device, why would you risk your other family members? I mean, it's just not safe. Do like all even the presenters of the device who have clearly said it's the best on the market. I don't personally believe that because there's no evidence to support that. And again, I'm clearly speaking from a position of non-bias on this. I'm not promoting the Pixel XL. I'm not promoting the iPhone 7 Plus, even though both of them are great devices. But again, this is not a biased position. This is just speaking to you on a matter of safety. This is clearly a dangerous device. Just think about it. Okay, I also heard today about the HTC 11 and the possibility of HTC 11 coming out. I don't doubt it. HTC has been trying to get back into the market with a good device, something that'll stimulate good sales. I'll give you my 2-bit cents on this because I've been watching HTC for a while, and I used to sell cell phones. HTC is a good brand, but they have really only one thing that really makes them notable for them. Okay, everybody has always known that HTC was there. Okay, they're just like Huawei or LG. People know of these brands. LG a little more popular, but people have heard of HTC. They heard of things like Boom Sound, which is clearly a HTC innovation. That is it's a remarkable sound system. They have probably the best sound I have ever heard out of any device. The best setup is those front-facing speakers. If you've not heard it, go to your local retailer and ask them to get out an HTC 10 and let it play some sound, and you will be impressed. It is a great device. Clearly has some great things to it, as well as it gets better updates than almost anybody else, okay, except for the Pixel. The Pixel just because it's Google, but the HTC 10, awesome device. I love the things that they're doing there, and I'm hoping that the HTC 11 will be a groundbreaking for them, that it'll open up brand new avenues for them to get money in, because if they don't, I really think that the rumor that's going out that HTC is going to be selling out, I think that's going to happen. No company can continue to bring negative profits into a company and continue its line. Well, I guess that's more subjective, because the same could be said of LG, who LG is, they have not been making great sales at all, but they're continuing to build devices. But again, they have a lot more money because they build a lot more products than HTC does. But let's just take it from the position of this could be good for HTC. 8 gigs of RAM? Not too sure about why you would need 8 gigs unless the phone is really clunky. This is something else that you guys got to think about too. I've been hearing a lot about people saying, "Oh, well, you got to put more RAM into the device. You got to pack it out with RAM." Why? I mean, really, why? There's no reason to pack out the RAM unless you've got a clunky processor, or 2, you expect your users to be using something like 12, 13, 14 apps at a time? I don't think so. You got to give me some evidence to support that reasoning, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. More RAM? Awesome. Is it needed? I don't think so. However, what is going to be interesting is to see how much memory they're going to put on that. So keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and go to the responses here. The first one is going to be a response. So if you don't want to watch this part of the video, just go ahead and close it down here. But this is going to be to Dom Perignon. This is under my previous channel, which is, I have 2 channels. One is Shultman37, SHULTMAN, number 37. And I don't really post most videos. That's mostly just a personal channel, and I wanted to respond to some comments that he made. Let me find the comment threads. Okay, I wanted to respond to you because I think, friend, that we're under a miscommunication here. You were talking about the fact that I was talking about the fact that it looks like Samsung is taking some cues from Apple, and that's clearly in evidence. Let's start. Have to go back a little bit. Look at the Galaxy S5. Okay, that's really where it started. The Galaxy S5 was the last device created with original thinking. Well, it changed a little bit here, so you just have to bear with me, okay? The Galaxy S5 was an innovative product that had original Samsung exclusivity. Okay, it was purely designed under their own concept. No other phone looked like it. Okay, it was its own unique world. So it was a great device. However, it had horrible sales. Just do a wiki on that one, and you'll see what I mean. People called it cheap. They said it was, even though it had water resistance, even though it had expandable storage, it had replaceable batteries, didn't sell so well. Okay, when the Galaxy S6 came out, look at that device and compare it to the iPhone 6. Look at the design feature. The phones look identical. I sold both of them. I had them side by side. And a lot of people didn't even know there was a difference. If you flipped it over, I mean, you can see the Apple logo on one, but you get my point? Okay? They took away expandable batteries. They took or replaceable batteries. Why'd they do that? Because iPhone was doing that. And they were still selling a high-end device and making more money. They didn't have expandable storage. So Samsung did the same thing. Let's take out that expandable storage. And guess what? The Galaxy S6 was the resurgence of a device for Samsung. When the Edge came out, and that was truly innovative, that device was really, that was an original idea. Okay? Curving the screen. No one has ever done that. That was amazing. That was truly a great implementation into the market. Great device. So that was a good device. However, you're incorrect when you say that Samsung has been moving towards a non-bezel screen. Okay? Never have they even proposed that idea. It has never even been considered on the market. There's no evidence to support that idea. However, it has been purported since early of last year. Evan Blass reported that there was discussion about a full glass display iPhone as well as a non-bezel screen. Let me pull up a report on this is a Forbes report, and this is what they said. It said, "I've heard this independently, and it's completely getting rid of the chin and the forehead of the phone. The entire face will be the display. And the Touch ID sensor will be somehow embedded in the display. The front-facing camera will somehow be embedded in the display. The speaker, everything, all the sensors will somehow be behind the display." Now, let's talk about that. That is the first leaks of a non-bezel screen. Nobody else was talking about it. I believe there was one phone that had a non-bezel screen, the Sony, and that's the first one to come out. However, that Sony was not, it wasn't really received well, from what I understand, or it hasn't truly released. I'm not too entirely sure about that, but again, that's a different subject entirely. We are talking about Samsung and Apple here. Samsung is taking cues from Apple, and they should. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. But for you to believe that they're not taking the right cues or they're not taking ideas from Apple, that's incorrect. This is not a bias. This is just the facts. Okay? But who cares? If Samsung makes a display that has no bezels, right? and puts it on the market and it sells well, great for them. I don't care if they stole it from Timbuktu. If the device sells and it does well for them, great. But again, they're using their own technology to make a full bezel screen with a fingerprint scanner. iPhone has been doing this as well. However, we must put a proviso on some of this information because from what we're hearing, there is a possibility that that iPhone 7 or this iPhone 8, that's the mysterious name, is not going to be released this next year. There's supposed to be an iPhone 7s, and that could spell disaster for iPhone, but that's a totally different subject. So again, please, don't take what I'm saying to be to mean argumentation with you, trying to cause problems. What I'm saying is that Samsung is copying ideas of what iPhone is doing, and it's a smart move. Okay? This is clearly evidenced by all the leaks that have been released and all of the things that Samsung has done with consecutive succession to the devices. The devices have all stayed the same, just like the dual speakers. Where do you think they got that? It wasn't HTC. I mean, iPhone took that idea, yes. However, it's a little bit different than the way the device is being played because HTC has dual front speakers. Different. It's totally different, and it sounds better. I think that the boom sound blows the iPhone away, but clearly the iPhone 7 started using dual speakers. Why? Because that was a big deal to them. They needed people to buy a phone, so it sells, blah blah blah. Guess what? What is the Galaxy S8 going to do? Dual speakers. Supposedly the camera is going to be better too. This is just, they make the best camera on the market. So let's just kind of step away from the bias here of saying that they don't take these ideas, because they do, and it's okay. I think you're a little upset about the fact that you think that shows a bias, but that's not bias. That's just demonstrating what you can do. Okay? There's no one on the market with a ruler tapping your fingers and saying you can't do it. So anyway, Dom Perignon, that's my response to you. There's no Samsung evidence to support the fact with bendable, flexible OLED displays that it's a full display on the front side of the unit. That's a totally different idea. And iPhone was talking about that as well, but again, I don't even want to go there because that has to do with, I think, wearables, and that has nothing to do with an actual phone device. I really don't think that we're going to have flexible phones. Really? Flexible phones? That's not a cool idea. Anyway, those are my points. Those are my facts. If you have another response, please feel free to respond to this video. Or you can respond back to my Schultman37 account. Either one doesn't really matter. But anyway, you guys take care of yourself. And I still have not seen that update come out for the Samsung Note 5. Not sure when that's going to come out. I'm hoping it's soon because, again, it's a vulnerability. I don't like vulnerabilities. I like to have a safe device. So anyway, you guys keep safe. You stay good. And if you have any other questions or you guys have comments, please leave them below. And I will get back to you next time. Later.